Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. I am your host, Asher, and today's theme is around victory. We get to reinforce the victories in our life. Also, you get to do the same thing as well. And I have two incredible guests today. I got Maria. She's my Caribbean sister, by the way. And I got Pamela. She's up north in Canada. And we get to talk about victories today. We get to share about our own story on victories, this thing that we have achieve in our life that we want to share and celebrate. So today's Friday, we get to do that. And I will start with you, Maria. Beautiful Maria, get to talk about where she hailing from, what she specializes in, how she added value to the world, and who she being a hero to. You can take it away. You want to take it, Maria. Over to you.
Hello, Asher. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. I am Marie McKenzie, and I'm in sunny East Florida right now. I'm in East
Mm-hmm.
Orlando. It's been raining a little, but it's still hot. It's 70s and humid today, so thank God it's not 90s. I'm a registered nurse by profession, and my calling is advocating for survivors. I was a trauma survivor myself, so that has inspired me to hold space for others and help them heal, thrive, and survive and bring trust, love, and intimacy back in their lives. Um, I remember growing up in Jamaica, my aunt, my idol, Sister
Mm-hmm.
Irma, she was a nurse, and I always wanted to be like her. So I've always wanted to be a nurse. So I got to do that when I migrated to the United States. And my calling with my life experiences and my role career as a nurse, culminated into what I do today, serving survivors and, teaching new nurses along the way. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you
Powerful work.
for
Powerful
me.
work, Maria.
Yes.
Powerful. Yes. Pamela. What you got, lady? What you got? Tell us where you're hailing from, what you specialize in, or you hand value to the world, and who you being a hero to. If anybody out there that say Pamela is my hero, we get to find out today.
Well, my name's Pamela or Pamela, if you want to go with that. Um, it's actually better because then you say my whole name instead of Pam. They like to really shorten names here in Alberta. I find
Mm-hmm.
it kind of lazy, but that's what they do. I also do stand-up comedy, and that was one of my bits. Apparently, I won't use it again because neither of you laughed. So, um, and I am launching a new business. I've been self-employed for the last, well, since COVID, basically. But my new business is called Empowerpalooza, and what I am is an empowerment coach and a motivational infotainer. So, and I'm as you said, I'm from Canada. I'm from Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada,
Medicine
where it
hat.
is sunny.
Put that on.
There's a whole story there, but we don't have time. And I don't know if it's true. So, yeah, we had some rain too, but it's sunny, so that's nice. We don't have snow all the time in Canada. Just we have 4 seasons, so that's just how it goes. And I uh, am very blessed, I have to say, to have the opportunity to have arrived at this point where I can actualize my calling and my authentic self. It's a great age to be at. I am a demi-centurion. So, right?
Demi-centenarian. Okay. Mm.
I'm over 50. So, um, and really that's when you figure it out. So all the people worrying about getting older, don't do that because it's actually much better in your 50s. Maybe because I'm single, I don't know. So yeah, so basically when COVID hit, I was dismissed without cause, which means you're so good at your job they can't fire you, but they really want you gone. And I had some time to think, and I was just turning 50, and I thought, what do I want to do? This is ridiculous. This is not the first time that I've been dismissed for speaking my mind, and doing my job well. And I really thought, I don't want to go back to school. I have a university degree. I saw some ads on social media for life coaching, which is an unregulated professional, but it was still something interesting because I've done so much para social work and taken so many courses in brain and psychology. Um, so I that was interesting, but what really caught me was I saw another ad for a little shout out to a program called the Tarot Academy, which is run by a fellow in the UK called Richard Knight.
Mm,
And so having grown up with gifts that were prohibited in my household for a long time, I wanted to find out more. So I just took the shorter workshops. And just like Spanish, tarot just made sense to me. I could never understand it when I tried it on my own, but it's not telling the future. It's not from the devil. It is simply like ink blots. So people see something, it opens their minds. And what I do is, because I'm a tarot coach, I let them do their own reading after I interpret what the symbols are and help if I get a nudge, sort of thing.
mm,
So so then I thought, well, how can I make you can make money being a tarot reader, but I didn't just want to do that because I want to be a tarot coach. And I also have a degree in classical voice and I do stand-up comedy. I'm a belly dancer, um, all that stuff. So I thought professional development's really boring, right?
mm,
So if you've ever sat through it. So I'm offering fun professional development to corporations and also small groups and one-on-one coaching and motivational infotainment. So basically, I will be realizing my dream when I was a little girl. That's what I wanted. Well, to be a vet, but didn't have the math skills. And basically creating a show so that people can combine their professional development budget if they have one and their staff appreciation budget and have a show all about them. So
mm.
that's
Th
where am
Thank
I
you for
at?
sharing. No, you're in a good place. You're in a good place, by the way. You're in a
I
good place.
am.
Yeah.
Congrats on the new business.
Oh, thank you. It hasn't started yet, so but thank
It's
you.
it's on its way. It's on its way. It's totally on its way. I think we gotta celebrate something here real fast before we move on. Because you mentioned that the centenarian, demi-centenarian, and I loved when you said that because that was really funny, and I think that was actually interesting as well. Because I think both you guys can call yourself demi-centenarian too. I'm assuming.
Well, I'm over 60.
Ooh.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
yeah, and we both look like we're in our 30s, so
Mm-hmm,
Yes.
that's just
mm-hmm,
from being a good soul and good living,
mm,
like, surviving.
mm. But let's tap into this a little bit because I'm curious. So when both of you, so I would start with you, Maria. When you hit 50, what shift for you when you hit 50? If you can remember.
What shifted for me when I hit 50? Ooh, 50. I can't recall any special shift in 50. I've always, since I found my voice and myself,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, I had experienced childhood trauma. And since late 40s,
Mm-hmm.
I've been like working on myself. So when that intention took over, life took on new meaning. I took a holistic approach to healing from that, like taking care of myself, building meaningful relationships, getting closer to God and friends. So just changing my lifestyle, the voice and the messages that I used to send to myself, I forgot, sorry. Yeah, the messages that I used to tell myself, the stories, like because as a childhood trauma survivor, I never shared until I was in my 40s. I shared with one aunt who she expired before I went public when I
Mm,
was 59. So that's a shift when I hit the 50s, so it was later. I was invited to a podcast to talk about my role as a sexual assault nurse examiner. And without planning, I revealed my story then. And then a few months later, I got the opportunity to write my memoir, Things That Keep Me Up at Night, where I
mm,
share about my journey and how I overcame. And when that was revealed, I heard from other friends and families who had suffered similar experiences. So that was a big shift for me because I learned that my story had power, I gave people their voices, the permission to tell their stories they were
Mm-hmm.
holding. I learned that self-blame, guilt, and shame thrive in silence
Mm.
because you're telling yourself, I'm not worthy, because that's what you're hearing when you hoard these self-blame, guilt, and shame, and you don't feel good about yourself. You settle for relationships that are not meaningful, because you don't have the strength to like set boundaries and communicate them effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So, things don't go the way that they should be for you. So you don't have that joy and peace that you should. So later in my life, when I started working on myself, because I did the work, you have to do the work. And I found the joy and peace, then that was a huge shift for me. And now I use the tools and techniques that I've learned to overcome my own self limitations to help others. So that's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm. Pamela, you gotta stop smiling and you gotta start speaking. What are you smiling about? What are you smiling about over there?
Oh, Story. I just appreciate everything that you said and everything that you do. My mom was a nurse, she back way back when, but there are people walking around alive because of her, so that's kind of cool. But the you're right, finding your voice and then sharing it's so important because once people can relate to you, they open up. And I I'm not familiar with the trauma that you suffered. And I was looking in, I do research because I was nervous about coming. So I know people talk about trauma a lot and we all go through things. It's horrible. It's how we learn things. If we have the grace and the strength, we can get through and be supportive for other people. But I just appreciate that so much.
Yeah,
Um, Sometimes, even though I can talk about things that happened to me, I can't spend too long there because um,
Mm,
I'm a bit sensitive and I don't. I speak my truth, but once I've done that, I have to force myself not to dwell. I'm a bit of a wallower and a procrastinator and drama queen. So, but
mm,
also, yeah, the shame and the guilt keeps you there. The self-blame, the people don't even realize what they're saying. That reinforces all of the awful things that so that you believe those lies that they tell you and you tell yourself. But so I'm just glad you're out there. So that's why
thank
I'm
you.
smiling.
mm. You know, I saw you because I felt like Maria was speaking to you a bit too. I can tell that you kind of resonate with it. And even when Maria was speaking, I was thinking, no, based on what you just said there, Pamela, that sometimes when you get to that place, you get a little sense that you don't want to stay there too long because you might wallow in there a little bit. And then Maria is saying that you have worked on yourself long enough, like, no, you can actually speak with it. You can feel the freedom of speaking about it. And it's a difference. Just imagine carrying that thing for 40 something years, you're saying, or 50 something years, maybe.
Yes,
Yeah, just imagine that like you somebody put this big heavy weight on your back. You carrying it for so many years. Gotta weigh you down a lot. That'll be heavy.
a lot.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So when you put that weight on, Maria, and you get to celebrate, who you celebrated with?
Me initially,
Mm.
me initially, I was married at the time, so with my husband, but just to get it off my shoulder, just to get it out there, it's like it's not a secret anymore, and it was so freeing. Writing the book was so cathartic,
Mm.
and then, hearing how it has impacted the life of others. People were using it in group therapy for other survivors. You
Wow.
know, I read your story, it was so powerful, and now I can share my story. It's sometimes we don't share a story because we think we are alone and we are ashamed. And then I learned that sharing my story to others, you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to speak up, you know, just it's help others. So celebrate with me first of all. It was just
Mm.
powerful for me.
I'm curious because I'm a writer myself. I like to write. I realize there's so much power in writing, and I'm curious when you was writing your book. Did you discover your name after you finished writing the book or before you started writing the book?
The name came after. You mean
The
the
name
title
came
for the
after?
book? It came after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What name did popped up to you? How did it came to you and what name popped up for you?
The things that keep me up at night.
Things That Keep Me Up at Night. That's the name of it.
Yes. Yeah, things that
Uh,
keep me up at night. And then we toyed around. I and one of the coaches and the editor was thinking about, should we change it to things that kept me up at night? Because now that I've worked it through. But
mhm,
then I decided no, because when you've been through trauma, it's like the triggers is like dealing with an addiction. It
mhm,
can hit you again years and years later. So it's almost like you're always working on it. It's
mhm.
like you're always in recovery, although you're not focusing, you're not staying there. So things that keep me up at night, we kept that name instead of changing. Yeah,
Well, congratulations on the book. I
thank
know
you.
it's a very healing journey for a lot of people, especially me.
Yeah,
I've started right now. I was like, I'm never gonna stop writing
yeah,
because there's so much power in when you can take what's in your heart and what's in your head and put it on paper and then look at it and then
yes.
move it around. And like, okay, that doesn't fit right there. That doesn't fit right there. It's a lot of empowerment in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even just journaling is so
Mm-hmm.
powerful. It's like getting, like, I journal every day and
Mm-hmm.
just getting things out of my head onto paper. It's like even my devotions, I write it out and it's like it sticks more with me and I can apply what I learned that morning to my day.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful.
Mm. So Pamela, looking at your
Mhm.
own story, your own journey, your own storyline, what part of your life that you have got to a place and it's like, wow, this is my most victorious spot that you want to celebrate? What would that be right now for you?
I would say right now, right here. Uh,
Mm.
don't let it go to your head. Uh,
Let
no,
it go to
I,
your head. Why not?
She's
I
a
think his
comedian.
mother tells him.
I gotta catch her jokes when she throw them out. I gotta catch them. Mm.
I think his mother gives him enough to fill his head. I know, his Caribbean boys. I have one.
Mm.
Mm,
No one loves him like his mom. So, yeah, right now, right here in this moment is the best moment. Um, and as I said, things happened as a kid. It wasn't just abuse stuff that the typical, well, I don't mean just is such a terrible word and one that we use a lot we're kind of demure in Canada where we play everything down.
Mm.
Um, but basically I was just born with this spark and
Mm.
I saw the best in everyone and I had no fear and I loved beauty and nature and just walked down the street and made friends and unfortunately, that doesn't stay with you. Being born an extrovert and just sort of a sparkly lover of life,
Mhm.
unfortunately, that also sets you up to be a target.
Mhm.
So Tay-Tay's right. People throw rocks at things that shine. And I actually wrote a poem about that when I was 11 before Taylor Swift was born. So
Mm.
I think we all feel that. I think that the people who get attention or whatever, there's always reasons with the modest and demure upbringing that I had. I wasn't allowed to fully be myself
Mm.
because my mother was afraid. She thought she was protecting me. So when things would happen, and she was doing the best she could. Uh, it was swept under the rug, and even good things, because we don't want people to make you feel bad about that good thing. So we'll just keep it to ourselves. And we all know the whole family's psychic, but we're not going to talk about that because, a great auntie died from it, but she didn't really. But so it's
Mm.
all of those things that you feel smaller and smaller and more compressed. And yeah, bullying, and that sets you up for being vulnerable to other kinds of abuse and unhealthy relationships, and thinking, well, if this is all I can get, this is what I'll take. But knowing deep down it's not. And probably that's the worst part. If I was oblivious, I've always wanted to be oblivious. I remember saying at age 11, 12, I wish I was oblivious and stupid so I didn't even know. But unfortunately, I feel too much. And yeah, you know deep down, this is wrong. But you have to just smile and live and go through it. Alberta is a very conservative province, not compared to the conservatives, like our conservatives, probably your liberal guys. I don't really know politics
Mm.
very much, and I try not to follow them because, yeah, I have other fairy stories to read. But yeah, so my parents were wonderful, and I had a great childhood, and but in the end, there's those nuances that you unravel later in life when something happens. And so I started working on myself. Oh gosh, I don't even know when, because I've always suffered from depression. When you feel a lot, people are unhappy. you you feel sad a lot, and it changes your brain chemistry. So yeah, so it's just speaking it. And this is the thing, I would speak it and be shut down. And I'd speak it again and be shut down. And then you learn. It takes me a while. I'm kind of stubborn, and oblivious. And apparently I have ADHD. I was just diagnosed when I was 52, so that's fun.
Mm.
Um, my friends all laughed at me, which was not nice, but true. So just that not being able to understand why you're different, why you see things that other people don't see, why you feel things that other people can't comprehend. You gaslight yourself. And as you go into adulthood and media and the grown-ups and the professors and the professionals, and it just keeps heaping on. But I would say what saved my life, if not my sanity, was having my son. Because, and this happens for women a lot, I had somebody else to live for. And that's how I was raised. So I had to be better because I had someone I had to be better for. And that was in my 30s. And then, yeah, journeys. I traveled a lot. I actually met my father, not my father, I met my father when I was born, but I met my son's father in South Korea. He's from the Dominican Republic, and I'm from Canada in a salsa club. So the world's a weird place. So it's, but wherever you are, that's where you're meant to be. It's not always nice, but it is part of the path. So, yeah. So
Mm.
I feel like I'm talking a lot. So
I think I might know that salsa club in South Korea.
I don't even know if it's there anymore. Oh, South Korea, South Korea. Yeah.
Was it in Itaewon?
Yes. How do you know? Caliente. How do you know?
Caliente. I know that salsa club. Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Were you in the force?
Yes, I was. I was. Mhm.
Ah, so you know about the Canadian English teacher.
Yes.
They were very naughty. Not me, Marie. Not me, of course.
Oops. Oh no, I would never think that of you.
Mm.
No, no, it's actually the first time that I realized that men even found me attractive. I didn't think I was attractive until I got there. Then later in life, I realized they were just, men away from their moms and behaving better.
The
Well,
things
well,
we do.
congratulations, Pamela. You got something to celebrate. You say your son really changed your life, which is beautiful, and that's incredible. I'm curious, what is your highest value, by the way, Pamela? What is your highest value?
My what?
Highest value.
My highest value.
Hmm. That lead domino that it just trickles everything else.
That's a toughie. I would say if you look at it from the tip of an iceberg, honor.
Mm.
So that includes integrity, authenticity, truth, commitment, all of those things. But yeah, honor. I think we need to come back to that, no matter what other beliefs you have or whatever background you have. Honor is in every culture.
Mm.
And I think that begins to um, unfolds like
Mhm.
flowers. Kind of, that sounds so cheesy, but yeah,
Yes, yes,
if you
unfold.
can
Yeah.
be honorable, and then you can suddenly discover all of the other things that go along with that.
Interesting. And what would you say your strong side is?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. Strong side?
Yeah, what's that? We often lead with our strong side. What is your strong side?
My strong side. Please define strong side.
Mm. So
Uh,
if you had to approach fear, you're gonna put your strongest side towards fear first, right? So if anything that you do that you're afraid of, you always approach it with your strongest side, the part that you can hold.
yes.
Okay.
Well, one of my issues is I don't have a lot of fear.
Mm. But you do.
About normal things, which is why, I traveled to 42 developing countries, or they're not even
Mm.
developed, they've been developed for a long time, the
Mm.
financially challenged or whatever, the ancients and all of the rest. I but there is fear, the personal fear, and it's all the fears that are in my head, which really is what fear is.
Mhm.
Common sense, right? So is different than bravery.
Mm.
So I would say that I'm willing to have faith and take a chance, which has not always landed me in the best places, but man, it's landed me in some pretty amazing places.
Mm.
Um, because I just do it.
Mm.
Except for
Amen.
health better. If I cannot think about it and do it, that's much better. If I start thinking and I procrastinate, my business coach knows that, so she's laughing at me right now.
Mm. Well, I would add courage to your list of values then. Might be a high one for you.
Pardon?
Yeah. Courage. I
Yeah.
would add courage to your list of values, and I think this might
Oh,
be high on
courage.
your. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. But
Hmm.
I struggle with that. I actually, for a while, I called my business Beyond Brave because I didn't, people say, oh, you're so brave. You've done all of these things. You've gone all of these places. You get up
Hmm.
on stage. But if I'm never afraid, how is that courage? Like,
Hmm.
so what I wanted to do with the tarot coaching was teach people skills and all the tools that you need. And like you said, Maria, you have to keep coming back to it. It doesn't go away.
Hmm.
Um, I went to a neuroscience seminar because I'm a nerd that way. And the lady said it was childhood trauma. Your brain is jello. And once you put that salt in the jello, it never goes away.
Hmm.
Um, Other stuff, there might be more. It's going to, eventually reduce, but it's always going to be there. So, yeah. So I never really considered myself brave because when it comes to certain things, I'm an absolute coward, but they're
Hmm.
very inward things. So
Hmm.
plus I can razzle dazzle and like people don't notice. So
Hmm. Maria, what do you think about Pamela's storyline?
Oh, she is so energetic.
Mm.
I love the way she comes off beyond brave. That's really something that she's just taking life by the horn and just going for it. So
Mm.
much gusto. So I love that.
Mm.
thanks.
Victory.
Yeah,
Let's.
she doesn't place any limits on herself, and
Mhm.
that's awesome. I'm I'm intrigued. She said she's never felt afraid.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's something.
We gotta take that word apart for Pamela because even though she says she's not afraid,
Yeah,
I think she used something to mask the fear. I don't
yeah,
know what it is yet. I'm gonna have to listen to her a little bit longer to see what it is.
Well, and that's true. Like I have to say, fear that's not readily apparent because it's more things like I used to be afraid of rejection. That was huge for me.
Mm.
hmm
Goes along with the stuff that I went through. Uh, but I'm 50 now. My baby's next week. I don't care. Um,
well,
yeah.
let's say you don't see fear, you only feel it.
Mhm.
So oftentimes stuff might not look scary, but we all afraid of the way stuff make us feel. And
Mhm.
sometimes we don't realize that I'm afraid of the way stuff make me feel, so I try not to feel it. And
Mm-hmm.
what do we normally do to mask the feeling of not feeling it? And I'm discovering this in my 40s now, right? I'm discovering that, oh my God, actually, you used to find a lot of ways to mask you're not feeling certain things. And I was like, you're right. I've been doing that.
Avoiding sometimes, most
Yeah.
times avoiding. Hmm.
Mm.
I do tend to cry a lot, like Oliver Town. I'm like a salty little rain cloud. When I'm upset, it happens. And that happened last week, and my friend was talking me through it, and this lady came by and she's like, I know how you feel, a complete
Mm.
stranger. And she
You
told me how
don't
you
know.
feel.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sort of bothered sometimes when people say that I know how you feel. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You can
No, I
you
feel
can
just the
empathize,
same.
but you don't know how I feel. Because even if we have experienced the same kind of thing, we all process it differently.
Hmm.
And our symptoms may are different,
Mhm.
so
Mm.
Yeah, I felt kind of guilty because I was right in the moment, and I am fairly outspoken. And I wasn't editing properly. But she said, "Oh, I know how you feel, but you got to keep going." And I said, "No, you don't.
yeah, you don't. I don't know
It's
if
just
I'd
an
have shot
act.
back at
I'm
her
not
like
trying
that.
to like scare anybody or say anything." And she was just like, and I was like, "No, no, no. I mean, but I understand, and I'm sure you'll be fine." And then I started, counseling her, and I felt so bad because she needed someone to talk to, but in that moment, I was having my moment, and I'm by, half a
And she,
century. I deserve
but
it in front of Cash
yes,
Canada.
but she wanted to be there. She wanted to hold space for you in your moment.
Mm.
So I guess
Wanted
she
me to hold space for
misunderstood
her.
the signs that you didn't want,
Mm.
didn't want it at that time. And that's what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
as
no,
women
and
try to
and it was
do.
I tried to backpedal, and my friend later I said I feel so bad, and she said I think you were there more for her than she was there for you, and that's okay. That's what you do. It's just it was bad timing. So, but yeah, and I hope she's feeling better.
Mm.
As women, that's what we try to do. When someone is hurting, we always try to fix it, and we
Mhm.
think we have to say something, do something. We don't. Sometimes we silence. There's power in silence. Probably just a touch on the shoulder if you think that's allowed, if you feel
Mhm.
that's safe, but
Yeah.
silence is powerful.
What
Yep.
is your highest value, Marie?
Trust, and that encompasses like being accountable, authentic, you know, showing up when you say you are showing up,
Mm.
your best self. So trust is my highest value.
And I think you probably encounter a lot of misplaced trust in your work.
Yes. And in my life too. When you experience trauma in your life, that's the people in your life who are supposed to protect you who
Mm.
didn't. So the trust is broken. And when you grow up and keeping that silent, you don't develop how to trust. You don't develop the coping skills. You don't develop proper attachment, um, how to attach properly to adult individuals, especially adults.
Mm.
You don't develop with skills to foster effective, appropriate relationships. So when that trust is broken as a child, that
Mm.
ruins a lot of things for you. And if it's not resolved, you don't get the treatment or interventions to overcome that trauma. It goes with you into adulthood.
Mm.
Because, yeah, a broken child without intervention grows into broken adult.
So
There's
true.
no good.
Yeah, you got me thinking about it because before a young child start trusting themselves, they trust the adult first.
Yes.
And if they never get a chance to trust a real adult, they never will never trust themselves. Take a long time.
Yes.
So then you go through your adult years, not trusting nobody else, not even trusting you. Then it's a rough world to carry to
Yes,
walk through.
especially you. Yes, if you can't trust yourself,
Mm,
then
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, oh my God, I see that a lot. You know, I was in the military. The military is a is a magnet for people that don't know who they are,
yes.
and they get in there and they have a whole lot of problems, and then you gotta try to find a way to kind of put them together. Build some values in them, and then so they can kind of like start trusting themselves. And sometimes it takes a lot of work, and sometimes you see people you don't know how bad their background is, and they're trying to fit in, but still not fitting in, and it's like you can see it. Eventually, we get build brotherhood and stuff. But you can see when people don't know who they are or don't understand how they're supposed to attach themselves to other people, like you said, it
Yes.
makes life really hard.
And I like that you said it takes a lot of work, a lot of
Mm,
work. You have
So
to
much.
be willing to do the work
Mhm.
mm. And
day,
just think
day
if you,
by day.
yeah, and if you think about it too, like some of those work you're supposed to get done while you was a child, but you never
Yeah.
get a chance to do them, and then you get to an adult, and then you gotta like, okay, how do I do it? And then it's a lot of work because you're supposed to be, it takes years to do, and then a lot of it doesn't get done when you were a kid. You're an adult and you got all the other distraction in the world, all the responsibility. You still can't work on yourself because you're doing all the other things. So it's very difficult. And I realized for me too personally, like hit my 40s or my later years, because they're saying that up to 30, you can blame anybody for whatever happened to your life. You can blame the government, you can blame your family, or you can blame the school system because they put you through all that stuff. But say whoever showed up to your 40th birthday is your fault. So if the person that showed up to your 40th birthday you don't like, who you can't blame? You can't blame nobody else. You can't blame the family. You can't blame the government system. You can't blame nobody but you because you created that person. So a lot of people don't get a chance to do that. But now you get to work on yourself in your 40s and your 30s.
And when you're just starting to work on yourself as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
you have to start from childhood
Childhood.
because you have to heal that inner child.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because as an adult, you're functioning as that 5-year-old, as that 11-year-old, because you haven't really passed that stage yet
Mm-hmm.
in your head. You're like dealing with emotions like the 5-year-old would. You're
Mm-hmm.
still throwing temper tantrums like that 5-year-old. So it's a lot of work because you have to start from way back.
The maturization process. A lot of us don't get through it. And you need help. You need a coach. Like if you didn't have the parents, you're gonna still need a parent in your later years to parent that kid in you. You're gonna
Exactly.
need a
Mhm.
coach. You're gonna always need a coach. I mean, people don't understand how important coaches is because I see the importance of them. Because in the
Yeah,
military, you
I
got a
do.
coach to help you do certain things, but in real life, it's still somebody that's walked the journey that I've seen some stuff that you're not looking at. Like, hey, it's not that hard if you look at it the way I'm looking at it.
Yes. And it's amazing when you have a coach who has walked the path, has the
Hmm.
techniques, and when certain are revealed in the coaching session, and you're like, oh my God, I
Hmm.
haven't have thought about that. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've had experiences where I cried during sessions because I'm like, oh my God, I just never thought about that.
Hmm.
It's yeah, powerful.
Hmm.
Much.
What do you
I
What are
like
you
that you
thinking about,
mentioned.
Pamela? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I like that, Maria, that you um mentioned going back, not just the 5-year-old, but the 11-year-old. One of my breakthrough moments was an exercise I did with a therapist I got when I was on stress leave or something. And it was basically a campfire, and you go back and you find a former version of yourself and a safe person, and and then the issues that, but there's so many. I go back and visit my former selves a lot
Mm-hmm.
because not even to apologize, but it's just to be like, it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
It's gonna change. It's not gonna last forever. And you're coming through this, and you're not just coming through it, you're coming through it with riches of experience and connections and wisdom. So as hard as it is to be that person, it's also a huge honor and blessing. So, but yeah, all of the past Marias and Pamelas deserve that
Yes.
pat back.
Give yourself a hug.
That is victory right there. We're talking about victory. That
It
is
is
victory right.
victory. Mhm.
Nice victory. Full circle. Thank you,
Yes.
Pamela. We are at time where we get to wrap up a bit. And
What?
I know. We can keep talking, right? This is good. This is really good.
Yes.
But just in case somebody says, you know what, I gotta go do dinner, I gotta go talk the kids and something. They're watching right, whatever. Like, hey, Maria, so I heard you. And you sound awesome and amazing. If I could work with you, I would love to work with you. How can I work with you?
sarecoverygift.com. I have a free guide, and that will give you all the contact information you need for me, sarecoverygift.com.
Mm. Same thing for you, Pamela. They're like, that Pamela, she's funny. She's awesome. She's all these things. I would love to work with her. How can I work with you?
You can find me Empower Palooza. That's all my social media. I don't know why the name wasn't taken, but just like it's spoken, EMPOWER Palooza. And I don't have much on my social media now because I'm just getting started, and honestly, sitting in front of the computer makes me crazy, and I'd rather garden. But
Mm.
but yeah, you can get a hold of me that way. That I have two Facebook profiles, and one is Pamela S. Palooza. So uh instead of Pamela Hauser. So that's open for anyone. You'll find that one. And all my social media. Um, and yeah, meeting virtually, especially now that this opportunity has forced me to take all my gadgets out of the boxes that I
Mm.
bought like 3 years ago and never used. Thank you for that. So I have a microphone and a light, everything.
Mm.
So online, and I mean it's the global worlds, and I miss traveling as much as I used to, but it's nice to meet people from different places, even if it's in your own home. So,
Mm. Well, congratulations. And one more question again. What is your biggest takeaway from this conversation today, Pamela?
oh, Pamela.
No.
I don't want to be rude. I am, but I don't want to be. Um, my biggest takeaway from this conversation is humanity is universal. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. Um, and there are bright sparks walking amongst us, and they may not present as such if they're going through a rough time, but if we
Mm.
can all just help each other along, they'll reveal themselves too when they're needed. So, and yeah, just the fact we have so much in common. I can't believe you've been to each one. And yeah, Maria, like I love everything you said.
Yeah, thanks. I enjoy listening to you also.
What is your biggest takeaway, Marie?
My biggest takeaway is there is a lot of hurt in the world, but there is also a lot of healing, a lot of victories. So I love that we were able to do this today,
Mm.
because my story as a survivor and helping women to find trust, love, and intimacy in their relationship again as an intimacy and relationship coach. There is healing after you're hurt.
Mm.
You don't have to stay there. You're not alone. So I love this story, this episode of sharing victories, because we are all overcomers in this space right now. And
Mm.
there are a lot of overcomers out there. So if you or someone who is hurting or stuck, you don't have to stay there.
Mm. And it's powerful. And one more question.
Oh gosh, one more,
Oh,
one
gosh,
more.
one more. I'm gonna start with Maria. I'm gonna hand with you, Pamela. Maria, what is that one thing or two thing when people do it drive you crazy?
I don't lying. Lying really drives me insane. People who like lie.
Hmm.
And I don't like people who don't take care of themselves. I hate dirty nails. I hate dirty nails and teeth. Ew. Yes. Yeah, but lying is big, huge pet peeve.
Hmm. Back to you, Pamela. What is the one thing or two thing when people do it drive you crazy?
Betrayal.
Honor and betrayal.
It's a big thing for me. I can forgive a lot, like maybe too much, um but betrayal, I can try to find all the reasons if something happens, but if you represent yourself as something and then you abuse what I have offered or cheapen what I I am because of your own selfishness or whatever, betrayal. Like it goes with lies for sure,
Mm.
but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
betrayal.
yeah, that's a powerful one.
Yes.
Mhm.
That one really hurts.
Mhm.
And the sound of squeaking, um, shoot, what's it called? You know, the stuff, the white stuff that they pack things in, styrofoam. When you squeak styrofoam together,
Oh.
I know the joke was coming.
Mhm.
I didn't.
I
And
know
if I
it
can
was.
share one more thing that drives me insane,
Mm-hmm.
that one coworker who never has anything good to say about anyone. Oh, yes, that always hits me.
Mm.
Turn around like not a good thing about anyone.
Yeah, that one person can be in paradise and all they can see is they didn't get the right eggs. It makes me this lack of gratitude. I just can't.
Yeah.
But
Well, well, thank you both
Oh,
for
you're so great.
being awesome. It's been an incredible conversation, by the way. I received the message of life is beautiful and you get to celebrate victories with people or without people. You just gotta
Yes.
love yourself and appreciate the journey you've been on and where you've gotten to this point in life and get to celebrate. Because if you can't see the joy or the beauty in what you've collected already, then the universe don't need to give you anything else. Because you can put it in the same place and put the same label on it and make it look ugly. And then what? We just gonna create a bunch of ugliness, right? So you gotta find a way to convert what you have to beauty. And it sounds like
mhm.
you both been doing that already. So thank you so much for the generous use of your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And
Mm,
thanks for the work you're doing, Pamela.
appreciate it too. All
Yes, thank
right.
you.
You've tuned into Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. And you got wisdom today from Pamela and Maria. They have given you a lot of wisdom from their, well, if you add up the ages, they're gonna be in the 100 plus. So there's been a lot of wisdom combined. So take that and do something with it on this Friday and make it an awesome weekend.